Have y'all gone out and actually gotten supplies and food and water? You just went. We went to Sam's Club. You went to Sam's Club recently,
I did.
and
Today.
no one cares.
No one was there.
That's weird.
Actually, you know what? There was one person that had 2 carts filled, like I'm talking mounds. It looked like Santa's sleigh filled with presents, just pushing them. Like,
What were they full of? Like
food, all sorts
everything.
of food items. Yeah, all sorts of food items.
Tim's cool fan.
Five bags of dog food on the underside, which is cool. You know, they're stocking up for themselves and their animals. It's like
Spot gets a meal during the
that
Corona
guy
outbreak.
gets it. He gets it.
I just watched. We're playing The Contagion. Have you ever seen it?
I've seen it. No, I haven't. Oh, no, the movie, right? Or
Yeah.
I thought you said you were playing
The movie.
Oh, okay. No.
It was playing in the background.
It was playing in the background. Yeah.
Contagion is scary.
Are they locked in a building or
No.
something?
No. It's a whole bunch of different cast members around the world dealing with this virus that has a 30% mortality rate.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that. Then.
And it's like the CDC is trying to find a cure for it.
Sounds familiar though.
Well, I mean, we're nowhere near 30%.
I know, that's pretty insane.
But dude, it was scary. One thing that was really confusing to me in the movie. So basically, the movie is a virus breaks out, people start having seizures and dying. They rush to try and find a vaccine. It takes a long time. By like 100 and something days, they've successfully done it. One scene that was really confusing to me is because it's supposed to show you how like the world is being affected, like the markets are slowing down and crashing.
Okay.
And there's a scene where Jude Law's character, who is this like he's this guy who thinks he's got a cure, claims he does. He lives in San Francisco, and there's trash everywhere. There's people like lying in the streets convulsing, and he's wearing a hazmat suit.
Okay.
And I'm just like, but that's just regular old San Francisco. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was supposed to show me a post-apocalyptic San Francisco, not what it's actually like now. I'm so funny. Right. So anyway, now that I just wasted a few minutes of your life, and you deserve it, we got a crazy story, man.
What is
I
it?
have no idea what this means. But a U.S. Navy P-8A Poseidon was lased by a Chinese destroyer.
So that's pretty crazy. Like that's them aiming at us, or is that them actually attacking us?
I'm not. I do not believe right now militaries are using directed energy weapons.
Yeah.
So I think this was a targeting laser. Like
yeah,
they
that's
were
what I was
locking
thinking,
in.
too. They were like locked on to whatever that is. Probably because they, wanted them to know they were locking on, so they'd get out of there.
Dude, tensions have been crazy between the U.S. and China for a long time.
Where was it? In the South
China Sea?
Sea?
No, in international waters.
Oh, wow.
Maybe, though, where they're claiming we own this territory.
So they're pushing their borders of the water out, probably.
They've been doing that.
Yeah.
And they're setting up military bases in the atolls in that area. They're putting planes, all these, destroyers are on these areas. So we've, like, a lot of people don't notice how dangerously close we've been teetering with, like, I don't want to act like I shouldn't say dangerously close, but we've been flirting.
Yeah.
China and the U.S. have not been having a good time with each other. China is trying to expand. They're doing oil exploration. They're setting up competing interests with the West.
Weren't they trying to make like another Panama Canal or something?
Yeah, the Nicaraguan Canal. Fell through as far as I know.
Oh, okay.
But that would have devastated one of the largest freshwater reservoirs in Central America, and they didn't care. They were like, we're going to plow through it, wipe out all that fresh water, so what? Because they wanted to shut down the Panama Canal, which was controlled basically like Western interests.
Yeah.
So they've been doing crazy stuff. And the crazy thing is, with the coronavirus and now, all of the chaos in their country, economic slowdown, supply chain disruption, factories being shut down, they're full on panicking. And then I'm looking at these stories, and we'll read the story about the Poseidon being lased, because they don't actually explain what it means, and they expect us to just know, I guess.
Like, oh, no one knows what lased means? Come on.
Like, I thought it was a directed energy weapon,
like
an infrared hit, trying to like cause damage, but maybe. But they say it's like it's more of a nuisance that could injure and harm vehicles, so it doesn't seem like it was an attack. But here's what I've been thinking. Seeing this story, would China, in desperation, seeing their economic collapse, they're losing the trade war with us. Now they got this virus spreading like crazy. If they actually think they're heading down the toilet, will they go nuts and try and take some military gains to offset their massive losses recently? I
don't know. It doesn't seem like something that a country that's like melting from the inside to go to war. It doesn't really. I mean, you said it's like a resource thing. They need resources, but aren't they using resources to sell us the stuff that they're making?
No. I mean, the factories have shut down.
Right. So
and they're turning back the masks that were produced in China. So these N95 masks that you need, they say to protect you from coronavirus,
made in China.
They're made in China.
Well, that's what I think. The guy in San Francisco, they're like, well, he didn't travel at all, but it's like, hey, did you use any Chinese products?
That's scary though. They don't know. That's all that matters.
I mean, but that makes sense. You made a joke that it was like the Family Guy or the Homer Simpson opened the thing and it like shot on his face.
Yeah, right.
But it's like that makes a lot of sense that
Especially,
that could happen.
Yeah, but here's what happened. All of these masks were departing the port in China, and the government turned it around and said, nope, we get them. So
we need them now.
Yep. So the factories in China took all that money in from companies here to produce the masks.
Oh.
And then China was like, we're going to keep them because we need them. That's the stupidest thing that the United States has ever done. It's been like, we're going to have a foreign country produce our goods. And then what do you think happens? Mm-hmm. So let's read this story. And as we get in, I'll do this as well. For those that are listening live and caught this live, make sure you hit the like button, join if you'd like to join. And if you want to get your comments read, we'll do our best to read the super chats. Sometimes it goes a little fast for us, but let's take a look at this here story. U.S. Navy P-8A Poseidon lased by Chinese destroyer. They basically say the same thing. It was lased by the People's Republic of China Navy Destroyer 161 on February 17th, while flying in airspace above international waters approximately 380 miles west of Guam, U.S. officials revealed today. So this happened 10 days ago.
Oh, wow.
The P-8A was operating in international airspace in accordance with international rules and regulations. The PRC Navy destroyer's actions were unsafe and unprofessional. Additionally, these acts violate the Code for Unplanned Encounters at Sea, a multilateral agreement reached at the 2014 Western Pacific Naval Symposium to reduce the chance of an incident at sea. CUES specifically addresses the use of lasers that could cause harm to personnel or damage to equipment. The destroyer's actions were also inconsistent with a memorandum of understanding between U.S. Department of Defense and the Ministry of National Defense of the PRC regarding rules of behavior for safety of air and maritime encounters. The laser, which was not visible to the naked eye, was captured by a sensor on board the P-8A. Weapons-grade lasers could potentially cause serious harm to aircrew and mariners, as well as ship and aircraft systems. Okay, weapons-grade, what does that mean?
Well, it doesn't say that that's what
this
it was.
Was a weapons-grade. It's right.
It was. Oh, you
No,
don't know. Yeah.
The article.
Yeah, exactly. It's not saying that it was. They don't know what it was.
This is a trick they do in journalism.
Yeah, exactly.
To make you think this was a militaristic attack on us.
Yeah, no, I could see that. My first instinct was that it was targeted. Like, oh, there's a ship.
Targeting.
There's a ship in our airspace. We're gonna target it. It's like they clearly knew they were targeted. They didn't fire on them
because the article doesn't say it was weapons grade. They just add that after the fact. So you assume that was the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's a little bit more. They say the P-8A is assigned to VP-45 based out of Jacksonville, Florida, and is forward deployed to Kadena Air Force Base in Okinawa, Japan. The squadron conducts routine operations, maritime patrol, and reconnaissance in the U.S. 7th Fleet area of operations. U.S. Navy aircraft routinely fly in the Philippine Sea and have done so for many years. U.S. Navy aircraft and ships will continue to fly, sail, and operate anywhere international law allows. U.S. 7th Fleet is the largest numbered fleet in the world. With the help of 35 other maritime nation allies and partners, the U.S. Navy has operated in the Indo-Pacific region for more than a century, providing credible, ready forces to help preserve peace and prevent conflict. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Things have started getting so crazy in China over the expansion of this virus.
Yep.
There's this animation. I don't know if you saw it actually. We were just talking about it a little while ago upstairs. It shows all of these other diseases, and they're like from day zero as they expand. And then when it gets to swine flu, which was really bad, infected like 13 million people, coronavirus just skyrockets, and swine flu is going like slow.
Like a slow and steady rise.
No, technically, but when you actually look at the trajectory of swine flu, it was ridiculously fast. So what's scary is
thought it was at the time,
and the mortality rate was 0.5%.
Oh man!
Now we have coronavirus,
and it's over 2% now,
and it's growing way faster, 2.2% according to this chart as of the 41st day. So we're well beyond that now. When the chart ends, we're looking at 40,000 people. So that was the 41st day. Today we're looking at 80 plus with 2,800 dead. So I'm wondering, I heard what you were saying. You don't think they would escalate, but look, you've got all of these contributing factors. China's expansion. They've constantly pushed our buttons.
Yeah.
And the big problem I think the United States has had for the past decades is the assumption that you can appease or placate China and they'll play by the rules.
But they were at full health when they've been poking us, you know?
Right.
They're not at full health anymore.
And they're still poking us. They just lazed 10 days ago.
I guess that's true.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, could that break the back and then be like, we go all or nothing? Or do they break apart and then nothing, you know? Could this be severe enough? So, yeah. We've got the U.S. This is actually really funny. The U.S. trade war unintentionally prepared companies for the coronavirus. I thought this
is interesting. It's true.
Right. Everyone started. So this is crazy to me.
U.S. made stuff.
Donald Trump was accused of blundering and bumbling around with the trade war, causing all this harm, but it was forcing a lot of companies to start bringing back trade to the United States, or manufacturing, I should say.
Right.
Then the coronavirus breaks out.
You know, we stopped like making our own antibiotics.
Yeah.
In 2004.
2004.
That's how long ago. China's been making all of our antibiotics. It's like
all of them?
All of them.
And India.
The last antibiotic factory in America closed in 2004. So it's been 16 years since we have had a factory that makes medicine for us. That's crazy.
Well,
it's all China. Yeah.
Somebody was messaging me saying that, you know, I talk a lot about people should get food and water, but what about medicine? Like, what if you're diabetic?
Yeah, that's true. Stock up on insulin.
Man,
I mean, it needs to be refrigerated,
dude,
I believe, but
I don't want to say go see the movie Contagion. Like, it's a pretty fun movie, but like,
it's pretty telling, or what?
No, it's like I don't want people to think that's what's really going to happen to a movie
because it's pretty exaggerated. Yeah.
But if that's what happens, man, it's scary. It's really scary.
Yeah, it is.
So like the main character is Matt Damon. His wife is Gwyneth Paltrow, and then one day she just dies.
Oh wow!
And he's at the hospital, and they're like, "Your wife is dead." And he's like, "What do you mean? We were just eating dinner together."
Yeah.
And they were like, "She's dead." And he's like, "No. Like she was just fine."
Yeah.
And now she's like collapsed, and yup. So this was a very severe disease.
Yeah. People are convulsing in the streets. That sounds pretty bad.
I think people, you know, there's the unthinkability bias. There's the optimism bias.
Yeah.
It can never happen to me. Things are going to be fine. And then just everything falls apart before people even realize it.
Yeah, that's true.
Now we're seeing that one food company 100 times demand.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's
good that they're there, that they exist.
Let me see what I got here. So there's been big growing concerns over conflict in the South China Sea.
Yeah.
And now it's coming to a head with everything that's happening in, you know, with coronavirus.
Yeah.
So now with them still pushing on us, this is actually, I feel like it's increasing tensions, because when you take the trade war, you take the existing conflict between East and West, China, they've been stealing our intellectual property for decades. They've been stealing TV shows, movies. They have these weird knockoff toys they sell, stealing our technology. So you've already had them in a really negative position. Now we have basically the Chinese economy is like taking serious hits.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll ever get back to where they were making everything, because that's the way it's
Trump
been.
won't let it.
No, well, I mean, this is scary, and this is gonna. It's not just Trump anymore. I think, you know, it's like he's the one who's been spreading that message, but you know, with their factories shutting down, a lot of companies are gonna have no choice but to start looking elsewhere. Yeah, and then that's gonna be the new system.
I mean, shouldn't that have been the case from the get-go, though? Why did it ever make sense that we were like, how about we stop making antibiotics and just let China do it? Yeah. This is the craziest thing to me because
it's cheaper, and the people that sell it make more money. That's literally it.
Yeah, but it's you know what it is? It's the people who ran the United States. It's there's a hole in the system in how our government runs. You get one dude in office, and his whole attitude is, you know what? I can't change it. Screw it. I'll just do whatever I can to get that sweet Chinese money, right? And so then they start passing these bills, and then all of a sudden you start, while we're engaging in these ongoing tensions and escalation with China, you know, like we mentioned, the Nicaraguan Canal. Yeah. We thought it was a good idea to continue giving our manufacturing away to them. Right. Like I asked my friend, this was years ago, because I was talking to a reporter about the Nicaraguan Canal and how they were trying to offset Panama and all that stuff. And people were like, what's the big deal? Because there was also, this was before Trump. And so it was in the era of like negotiating the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Okay. So Obama and Hillary, they wanted to have this free trade agreement between, you know, the U.S. and the East Pacific. Or, right. I'm sorry, the West Pacific. Yeah, yeah. And well, actually, no, I think it is east to them. Anyway, whatever. And people were like, so what? It's free trade's great. It boosts the economy. And we heard all of these things. And I said, what happens if all of these tensions between the U.S. and China, China just says, we're going to war. And by the way, all that stuff you gave us money for, we're going to keep it.
Yeah. We're
Now,
going to keep the money and keep the stuff.
And then go to war with us.
And then we're going to use it.
And then we
against
can't
you.
make antibiotics.
Right.
And then we have no masks. Then we have no weapons. And then we have no cars. It's like we've given away everything.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's scary. It's like they didn't care what actually happened in the United States.
Yeah,
and
we really got to bring it back. I mean, there's a rise of U.S.-made stuff. You know, I'm seeing it. I have a friend of mine who started a clothing company, and it's doing so well, and it's all American-based. It's all really good quality stuff. And that's another thing. It's quality. It lasts. That's another thing. People are getting stuff that lasts now. They're not getting the Chinese knockoffs. You know, they're spending 3 times as much and having it last 10 times longer.
That's how it's always been.
Well, that's how it used to be.
I mean, there were jokes in like
it used
cartoons.
to be back in the day,
right?
You know, before my time, before I was even born. Well, actually, no, I was born in the early '80s, so it's like I remember those days of like quality stuff that you'd get your one thing, and that would be your thing until it broke, and you tried to fix it. You didn't just go out and get a new thing; you fixed it, made it last longer. You know, we've fed into this. You know, it's like fast fashion. Also, you know, it's the same kind of thing. Just replace. Use it, break it, get a new thing. It's not a big deal. Yeah,
because it was good for the short-term gains.
Mm-hmm.
You know who Dylan Ratigan is?
Mm-mm.
I think this was Dylan Ratigan. No. Maybe it was. He said the country is being extracted. This was years ago. He went on this rant. He was a report for MSNBC, and he said something like, you know, you got the Republicans who want to what did he say? He said the Republicans want to burn it down and the Democrats want to kick the can down the road for the next few generations. Yeah. While this country, he said it, extracted, right? Yeah.
I hadn't seen it before.
That's a good way of putting it, though. It makes sense.
Like that was happening. Like all the jobs were being sent overseas. Our production, our manufacturing, and everything was happening. And they have nothing but disdain for us, stealing our intellectual property. And then people in our government were just basically like, works for me.
Yeah.
Get these trade agreements, make that money.
Whatever, we're saving money. We're making more money. And that's really it is. They're just whatever.
But
they're paying us.
You look at the media and how they responded even to coronavirus, and I'm like, they're complacent and they're happy to be.
Yeah, that's true.
Was it?
He did say it was being extracted. Tens of trillions of dollars being extracted from the U.S. Democrats aren't doing it. This is.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's super old and viral. Like, well, not super, but super viral video.
Yeah. That
was kind of old, and when the coronavirus came out, like when the news started breaking, and I saw the reaction from a lot of people in media was tepid, and they were like, no, ignore it. At first, the first stories I was like, keep calm. We saw SARS, we saw MERS, and then it started to get bad, and I started to monitor a lot of the stories and look at actual studies that had come out from universities saying, hey, this thing's questionable. I immediately changed my tone and said, hey, you know, get ready. And there's still people in media complacently laughing and gloating about how smart they are.
Yeah.
You know what, man? It's this attitude that got us in this position in the first place, where now we're going to face a shortage. What was it?
Yeah, Dylan Ratigan was talking about it. He goes, Democrats aren't doing it, Republicans aren't doing it. An entire integrated system, financial system, trading system, taxing system that was created by both parties over a period of decades is at work in our entire country right now. We're sitting here arguing about whether we should do the $4 trillion plan that kicks the can down the road for the president in 2017 or burn the place to the ground, both of which are reckless, irresponsible, and stupid. So I appreciate his bipartisanship because I'm seeing a whole lot of partisanship right now that doesn't make a lot of sense.
But think about what happened since then. Donald Trump got elected, went nuts on China, got slammed for it. And I think what ends up happening is when you look at these media companies, they love to be the ivory tower elites, laughing at how stupid they think everyone else is.
Yeah.
So coronavirus hits. And they're all like pinkies out, drinking tea, going, ha, 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 the stupid peasants actually think this will get bad. And then I'm watching and I'm like, hey guys, it's going to get bad. And then what happens a month later? They're still, like they called Tom Cotton a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
It's the same attitude that what Dylan Ratigan was talking about, the extraction, was these people sitting around saying, oh, who cares if we give our factories to a foreign country? And now here we are. We ordered masks to be produced for our citizens. China's like, turn it around and bring them right back to us. Well, and we paid for it.
And they look at us, and China probably looks at that attitude and be like, that's America.
Yep.
They don't care.
They don't.
Why shouldn't we attack them?
You know, they have a word in China for like social justice warriors, baitsua.
Baitsua?
Baitsua. It means white left. And dude, they're super racist.
Justice warriors.
And they know that our country has a problem with we have a bunch of whiny, sensitive babies.
Yeah.
I love talking about the baby millennial problem.
Yeah.
And then we also have a bunch of people who are so extremely selfish
Yeah.
and lack community that they're like, they get in office and they say, what can I do to enrich myself while I'm here?
Yeah.
Who cares about anything else?
Like you've mentioned multiple times that this is basically the new Civil War, right? We've got everyone's feuding in America. Like I don't even think about outside America, and we're basically in a little mini war right now, trying to figure out like what to do, where to go in our political system.
We're screwed.
This is a pretty opportune moment for China to attack. It actually makes sense because we are divided. We're like we've been dealing with cyber attacks for a long time. Mm-hmm.
But they don't need to anymore, right? What's the point of an actual physical conflict? It's like when all else fails.
Yeah, you're right. Why wouldn't they just inject coronavirus into all of our antibiotics that we get from them?
Well, I don't know about that. But what I'm saying, that's still a physical attack.
Yeah, okay.
What I mean is, they can sit back as we tear each other apart, give it a few years, and we're being extracted,
right.
And they're getting our labor, our manufacturing.
Yeah.
So they were winning without ever having to land a soldier on a beach.
Yeah. So why would they even?
Yeah.
Why even? Why laze a plane?
Well, because now Trump has basically put a spike in it.
Yeah, he said, we're going to tax all your stuff and we're going to bring it back to America.
So this is the thing, right? He likes to say that it's the tariffs from them.
Mm-hmm.
When a product gets brought into the U.S., the U.S. company pays the price and then jacks the price up on the people.
Right.
But it is a deterrent.
Mm-hmm.
So you have right now with coronavirus, you've got his opponents trying to point the finger and weaponize everything against him.
Yeah.
We're screwed. Like it's mind numbing to me that you can't give Trump one good day.
Yeah, Elizabeth Warren said something about like they asked her what would she do, and she said, well, I would take all the money from his racist wall and use it for. And I was like, why did you even, every single chance is an attack? It's like, okay.
There's no unit. So
yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
I get that you don't like the wall, man.
Yeah, exactly.
No beef. But we're talking about the coronavirus.
Trump virus.
Yeah, they're calling it the Trump virus. I can't believe it. But this is
ridiculous.
But it's not so much like, I don't want to get into the politics of it.
No, I know.
But it's an issue of, can we as a country survive on this path? I will say, I think right now, the culture war, not the president. The president is a symptom of it, not the cause or solution to. A lot of people think so. Something happened where the pendulum started swinging so hard, there was like a hard stop for a lot of people. And it was, it resulted in Donald Trump for one. But how much longer could the United States go on giving away the manufacturing base, sending its plants overseas, bringing in non-citizen labor, displacing the American worker, and then telling all of the young people to take on massive student loan debt for a degree that won't get them a job?
All I see is all the people in charge, all the people that already own stuff, just making more money.
That's what it was. Now they're calling it the blue collar boom.
Well, the system is all falling apart now. And, people are getting woke, for lack of a better word. That's what's happening. To all the stuff that they've been looped into. The college debt,
it's crazy.
Thing, losing our factories.
And again, I think the president is a symptom of what's going on, not the cause or solution. I think people voted for him for a lot of reasons, but it was the people themselves that are trying to wake up to this, starting to make these changes, rejecting certain, like the pendulum swung too far. And yeah, like Dylan Radigan said, the country was being extracted by this large machine. Yeah. And people eventually said, enough.
Yep.
And now the Democratic establishment, so the Republican establishment was just crushed.
Yeah.
The insurgent Republican, Trump base came in. Now you have the Bernie side trying to crush the establishment on that side, and that's falling apart. And I don't know where this ends, but my concern is China has been able to grow exponentially off of the extraction on the United States. And it's not only to China, but they got a ton of our labor, like, Mexico and some other, India was getting a lot of our work and our money.
Okay.
Does China react now as everything falls apart on their end with, now's our chance to make a move, we have no choice? What do they do?
Or it's more like, we need to make a move now before we crumble.
Right.
Completely away.
Because the tariffs, the trade war, they're losing.
Yeah, exactly.
And so now it's like,
they're losing their hold on the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's scary. The coronavirus scares me in this regard because if it really does become something really, really bad, like I'm not saying the world's going to end. I'm not saying we're going to end up in war. The issue is that we've got all these factors, straws in the camel's back, that have been pushing us into conflict with China.
Right.
If coronavirus really does, like, get worse than swine flu, because those graphs are looking like it's going to be worse. Does China go so desperate that they say, they throw all reason to the wall, they, with reckless and abandon, charge straight in and just go nuts, laze one of our ships?
Or do they humble themselves and ask for help?
Yeah, that's the right question.
Right.
Do they then say, you know what,
We can't deal with this,
and then
We need
bend
help.
the knee?
Yeah, bend the knee.
That'd be funny if Trump came out and he was like,
Bend the knee.
we'll help you. Bend the knee. And then Xi Jinping does.
That would be crazy.
That'd be a crazy thing. Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show every Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., sometimes an hour or two. And we do have a full live recorded version of the show that includes a lot of comments and smaller segments you probably don't see. If you want to check that out, you can watch live at 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, or become a member of this channel. And for $5 a month, you get full access to all of the recorded podcasts. Every day after the show, we make them available in the community section of this YouTube channel. So don't forget to subscribe and stick around for more segments and more shows Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all in the next show.